What's up, people? Happy Friday to you. It's your boy Gene.com bringing you the 411 news here inside the greatest high school in the world, and that's William Marion Raines, school number 165. It's a big weekend this weekend, and we'll get into the reason why in just about a minute. But you know, I have to bring you the hotness in 411. Now, of course, a couple of weeks ago, I reported to you that Sean Puffy Combs is going to have his own television network. Well, him and Magic Johnson have decided to put their dollars together to create this network. So let's hope that they have a lot of diverse shows as well as some polished African-American shows, no buffoonery and no coonery running around on the camera, showing our actors and our actresses in a greater light on this particular network. I'm proud of both of them, especially when two men get together of color and can work together for the benefit to empower the people. Also, in other news, of course, you know, the big talk of this week has been Whitney Houston. You know, we buried the great pop star on last Saturday, and everybody's been talking about the funeral, but the spinoff from that has been the way Bobby Brown was treated at the funeral. Well, Bobby Brown has decided to do a tell-all book, and I think it's going to be entitled Life with Whitney Houston, and it's going to tell everything from what he said in this interview. Now, he said the only skepticism about it is because he doesn't want to defame the late great pop star in respect of his daughter, Bobby Christina. So I'll keep you posted on that. You know, him and New Edition is scheduled to be here May the 14th at the Funk Fest. I'm sorry, May 11th and 12th, the weekend, Mother's Day weekend of the Funk Fest. So I'll keep you posted with the book. Maybe I'll get a chance to get an exclusive with him to find out more about the book when he comes to our town. With no further ado, the reason why I'm here is because this is going to be a great weekend, an epic weekend, a historical weekend, and I'm not talking about All-Star Weekend. I'm talking about the movie documentary film, We Remember Raines. I had the opportunity to get some pardon in and get on this brother's schedule, Mr. Emmanuel Washington, who is the director and producer of We Remember Raines.
Mr. McCoy. Mr. McCoy,
here, school is going on, so we have definitely infiltrated the walls of this great school, so please disregard any announcements that we have. But Mr. Emmanuel Washington, let's just get right into it. How did We Remember Raines come to be?
Well, quite naturally, you're looking in the world and you're seeing everybody celebrating their history and their culture. And we all, as people from Jacksonville, we go there. And I have gone there to these great centers of culture. But getting a little bit older and realizing that we are black, we have the same creativity that a person has, you know, in New York or Atlanta or California or Texas or whatever like that. And so I said, what is it in our world that we can celebrate, that there would be a great amount of people who can agree upon this cause for celebration. And so after reading a book called In Search of Black America, I was really inspired to find something within my world and something that was contemporary to me to document and to celebrate. And so as a result of having that experience, coupled with numerous conversations at work, at restaurants, wherever I would be, about the whole experience, you know, at high school is where this took place. And one event in particular, I was at work and I saw a guy with a Raines Viking t-shirt on, and I assumed that I was older than him. So I said, hey, what do you know about Raines Viking? And he said, shoot, boy, I know everything about Raines Viking. And actually came to find out that he was a graduate from '86. Wow. And you know, here I am from '90, and he actually, we talked, we shared stories, and you know, we still have that bond today. So big shots out to the class of '86 for getting some inspiration in there.
Okay, now you mentioned you came out in 1990, but your first conception was, you know, 87, 88. I'm here holding the classic 1988, the Viking yearbook.
Yeah.
Great times back then. You know, I was a little lad myself, you know, trying to mimic what what I would be doing and how I would be doing once I got to this great educational home of William Raines. Now, being that you, do you think that you captured the history, being that you finished in 1990?
Right. I think that I've captured it because I've gone and I've talked to those first students. I've talked to the faculty, those first teachers, and I had the great chance to meet Dr. Judith Harpel, who wrote her doctoral dissertation about the desegregation of Duval County schools, and she dedicates a portion of her book to our prestigious, talented first principal, Dr. Andrew Robinson. And she really shows love and shows the uniqueness about Raines, because, you know, being that we are from Raines, we're automatically going to have a love for Raines. But here was somebody who was on the outside, and she, in a sense, fell in love with Raines in terms of what it was able to do in the time that it was able to do it. And so, so with those dynamics coming about, I asked questions. The more questions I asked, the more people would lead me to the next person and the next person. And so for a person my age, I feel that I have covered the foundation of the school, and I have brought it all the way up to what is currently taking place now.
Now, what do you think, well, what was when you first went through the initial thought process, and then you started getting the wheels turned, and then you implemented plans to doing this? Well, now that it's complete, what, at first I'm saying, what was the community's response?
The community's response was twofold. Some were really excited, you know, wow, that would be a great idea. Others they were not so open because, you know, let's face it, I'm a young guy, and being a young guy, you know, sometimes youth is against you. So with that, I did my research, and when I met some of the older Vikings, they began to be impressed that, you know, that I knew certain keywords, I knew certain times. Like, for instance, in 1968, William Raines was the first school to receive its accreditation, meaning that when you got a diploma from this school, it was good, let's go. And so I knew things about that. I even knew that how the school got its school colors. You know, because, you know, obviously, you know, we wear our colors proudly, but our colors came by Mr. Kitchens, the coach, first coach, athletic director, looking at the electrical box and saying, well, you know, the box is gray, the handle, one is cardinal red, the other one is blue, so that's going to be, you know, the colors of the school. And so, you know, those little nuggets of the things that we hold dear to us, you know, I was able to uncover these things.
Wow.
And you know, with that, you begin to see, because the beautiful thing about Raines, and even if I didn't go to Raines, I still would have done a documentary. The beautiful thing about Raines was that it opened its doors and it hit the ground running. It had success immediately, and that was, you don't have any institution coming out of the gates
With that type of
right.
record.
And so it is to that legacy that I'm inspired to see how I can reproduce that in my own world.
Okay. Just in case you're tuning in to the blog, if you just so happen to turn away or you came back to it, I'm sitting here with an exclusive interview with Mr. Emmanuel Washington, the director and producer of We Remember Raines, right here on the blog. Now, with anything, because I've been a part of some of the biggest projects, I've been a part of some of the smallest, but with anything, there are going to be some setbacks.
Right.
What were your setbacks in trying to complete this film?
Well, my setbacks were, and we talked about this earlier, but you know what my biggest setback was? The idea itself. It never had been done.
Wow.
People talked about it. There was even one guy from the class of '80. He actually went to Channel 7 and said, "Hey, you know, you guys need to do a story about this school." They didn't think it was a big enough story.
Wow.
There's a quote that says, "The genius of the black man is when he learns to tell his own story." So we don't fault them for not seeing it, because you know, it's not for them to see that. It's for us to see it. And so having that idea of doing a documentary and about high school, it was based upon me being a lover of documentaries, watching Ken Burns, you know, baseball, jazz, and all that good stuff like that. And you know, again, you know, seeing everybody else celebrating their culture, celebrating where they're from. And so I said, well, we've got to do this because I've got a great story to tell. So, but the idea again, how do you tell the history of something that happened way before you were born? Right. How do you tell the history of, I'm looking at that picture of graduates. You know, all of those graduates have their own unique We Remember Rain story. And that's why we asked a lot of them, people that we interviewed, we said, what was your most memorable moment? Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, what was first day like? Because some people, like myself, were scared and excited. Mm-hmm. Other people, hey, they had been on the landscape. They knew that they were going to be here. They, you know, they were what I like to call traditional Vikings. You know, right. It was in their bloodline. Right. Parents were the big brothers, big sisters, so they knew the language. And so, with creating this idea, I began to do research, and as I began to do research, it took form. So what I said is that I'm going to interview some of the popular names, like Ken Burns, Coach White, Brenda Jackson, Betty Byrne, Emil Jones, you know, all these people that, you know, even Rodney Washington, Bishop Bob McLaughlin. And I tell you something, Gene, for me, when I came to this story, arrogantly, I came to it thinking that I was going to do something to the story. I was going to unleash all the greatness. But I experienced what a writer in the 1930s, Napoleon Hill, experienced. I experienced wisdom. I experienced insight that I had never thought about. I was talking with teachers who were well retired, but who were very sharp. I was talking with students who said, I grew up in the projects, but I wore a super suit. I wore a briefcase, and I'm saying, how do you do that? And they said, well, that was the standard. And I told Mom Dukes, we got to come to the standard. So that's something that both I can use and the current day student can use. So what happened, again, like I said, not only did I have a great idea, but, and hear me, I created something that ultimately healed me. Something that ultimately gave me a better sense of who I am. And knowing what I know now, man, if I could come back here and do my 3 again, I would know what I was supposed to be doing. And at the end of the documentary, that's what I want students to know. This is a place of greatness. When Dr. Robinson created this place, he had us in mind, and yes. He's long gone. And so we, the tools, the energy, the air that we're breathing is greatness. I know I went there, but yeah.
That was ultimate. I mean, you actually covered a couple of questions that I was gonna ask. All right, and wrapping up, tell me about the movie's theme song.
Okay.
And the team that helped you.
Okay, well, you know, we have the song called "Do You Remember," or "We Remember Rains," and it was done by a real good friend of mine. I consider him my god brother, and the beautiful thing about it is that I didn't even know that he went to Rains, because again, there's a little bit of age difference. But when I found out that not only did he go to Rains, but he was a part of the the club fraternity that I was in. And so, you know, there was this natural connection. Trevor Peterson,
Absolutely.
aka Truski.
That's my class.
Yeah, not big shots out. And so, you know, he's a phenomenal artist. And I said, hey, man, I'm doing this documentary about your school. Give me a song. And, you know, without hesitation, he jumped at it. And, you know, most of the times, I'm a very, very critical person when it comes to music. I tolerate no whackness.
Right.
But when he sent me the track, I was sold. And as you will hear, he talks about, you know, we are the lion and lionesses. We lead the pride. You know,
Right.
You know, he says Reigns will not retire. You know, Reigns, you know, even in this day and time, you know, how the community, the society is looking at us sideways. But Reigns will rise again because we remember Reigns. We remember the Dr. Robinsons. We remember the Dean Grays. We remember the Sally Gagners. We remember, you know, all these great people because they are us. And so this song is in the movie. We're going to make it available for download because we want all the Vikings to use it, you know, to nurture their upcoming Vikings. And so we're definitely proud with that. And I mean, you know, I played that song so much until you know it's on automatic, you know, drive and all that good stuff like that. So you know, we're all creative people, and I'm a big supporter of trying to bring other people and to the table and let them give their gifts. I have my gifts, you have your gifts, and so that's what Trey did, and so we're happy.
That's the Ichiban way. Emmanuel Washington, listen, tomorrow night, whether you are a Viking or not, if you wanted to be a Viking, if you wanted to attend Reigns, and for whatever reason, you could not. If you, for whatever reason, are in love with another high school, which I jokingly say this, but how could you be in love with any other high school other than William Marion Reigns? I don't care what school you went to, but what you will take away from this film is going to be historical, not just about the school, but the culture, the pride that Reigns had, still has, and in my heart will forever live on and have. Just the cultural impact that this school made on the city of Jacksonville, Florida. You can't go anywhere in the nation without saying Reigns High School. They know it. You know, they'll immediately say Duval County or Jacksonville, Florida. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., find out why. I like that. It was just a steel pose. I felt myself on that one. Tomorrow, 7 p.m., get here early. Tickets are how much, Emmanuel?
They're $10.
Tickets are $10. We're going to support this film. We're going to support our high school, and we're going to support Emmanuel Washington for his endearment for the school and how he took time out to show every class, every historian, everyone who has walked these halls, the history of our schools. We Remember Reigns documentary tomorrow night. This concludes the blog. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found it very informational. Next Saturday night, we're doing the 2-year anniversary of the Glossary Inside Poppy Love Smoke. Join Mr. Al Pete and myself, along with the Mazel Group and New Growth Movement, as we give you 2 full years of music, of all of the glossaries that we've done. Be sure to tune in next Friday as well on the blog. Remember, whether this is written or digital, this blog is the hottest ish in the city. Tomorrow night, We Remember Reigns.